Hello my fellow mermaids, and thank you for tuning in. So I had a video a little while ago that was like my entire workout routine, but you guys requested more specific, especially when it comes to glute training and core and all that kind of stuff. So that is what I'm bringing to you guys today. A little history about me. I am a member of the pancake butt community. So I naturally have no glutes, and I worked really hard for a long time and was able to build quite a bit of glute muscle. Unfortunately, in the last few years, my goals just haven't quite been to it. So I'm gonna backtrack now and do the stuff that I did in the past to build up my glutes and kind of bring you guys along with that. So this is the workouts that have worked for me and what I'm currently doing to change from a pancake butt to a bit more of a peach butt. So disclaimer, this is what's worked for me. If you have any injuries, if you have any if you feel any pain, I don't know what your goals are, but you should talk to a professional before doing anything like this, just to make sure you don't hurt yourself. Like I said, this is what's worked for me and my goals, and it might not perfectly work for you, but it's a great glute workout that you can give a try today. First, we're gonna start with a warm-up kind of activation. I like to do this before every workout. First, you should just do some light cardio. If you're cold, stiff, you're really prone to injuries, so you can just do some cardio equipment, anything. You can walk to the gym, you can hop on the spin bike, you can just honestly play a game of basketball beforehand. I just like to do something that gets the blood flowing, and then I go into some glute activation. The reason is one of the biggest problems is you can do an entire exercise, but if you're not activating the actual muscle you want to grow, it's kind of counterintuitive. So I always find just making sure I'm just that mind-muscle connection with my glutes, that they're warmed up so they don't get injured, and so I'm actually using them. So these are different core stabilizing exercises, glutes, activation, and kind of full body stuff that I do before every workout. Okay, the first one I want to do, I always do supersets. It's just I like fast-paced workouts. I'm not really someone to just like do 12 reps, chill for a while. I like to keep it fast-paced. So how I do that and still be effective is I superset everything. So the first one, I start with kneeling banded hip thrusts. These are kind of cool because you can modify them. You can just start with a really small band, and then you can build your way up with the bands, and then eventually you can add weights onto your back, so depending how strong your glutes are. I really find these work best for me for isolating my glutes. So that's the thing, if an exercise you find doesn't work for your glutes and you don't feel it, maybe try other ones. This one's always worked for me. And then I superset it with an eccentric chin up, just because it's quite easy, just in the same squat rack. And the cool thing with eccentric chin ups is you can modify this as well. You can have a band, you can have a partner hold you up. If you're really struggling, you can use an actual machine, assisted chin up machine, and just kind of progress from there. So I like to superset these two. So how it typically works, I find with eccentrics, is you can jump up, you can use the bands, or you can just jump up, and it's all about lowering yourself as slow as possible, and that just kind of builds all the strength that you would to be actually able to do chin up. And then you can use the bands to do chin ups, and that's just kind of a way to have it as an assist, or just kind of have a little support system at the bottom. And then I will mention rest time. There's people who go into way better scientific detail about this that you can find on YouTube, but I find personally what I would recommend is what works for you. If the next exercise is suffering because you didn't rest long enough, that's too much. And if also you're just wasting time and minutes way too long in between, you're just wasting your time. So I find just make sure you can give full effort by the time you do your next set, especially in weightlifting, otherwise you're just kind of sacrificing performance. Another one I like is kettlebell sumo deadlifts, and this one is another one that I find targets my glutes really well. I just like the kettlebell, it's really easy to set up. Of course you can do barbells, but for myself, it's just not something I always have time to do, and so I just like to just grab a kettlebell. So here's my main tip for any kind of like deadlift or like hip thrust kind of movement. It sounds really gross, but it works. Is you want to think a nail in the wall behind you, and you're gonna lean back, grab it with your butt cheeks, and pull it out. And that is the best way to make sure well, not the best way, but it's what I mentally tell myself to engage my glutes when I'm doing any kind of like deadlift movement. And then I superset it with banded, feet elevated hip thrust. So I'll put my feet up on the bench and just kind of burn out my glutes at the end. Okay, reminder to always breathe. It's very important just so you don't die and suffocate, but also it does help with explosiveness in the movement. And so you wanna, what was it Joe gave you?
So you wanna exhale when you squeeze the muscle.
You wanna exhale when you squeeze the muscle, and inhale when you release. And then third is a Bulgarian split squat. And so on the bench with dumbbells. Okay, so with Bulgarian split squats, the great thing is there's so many progressions. If you're just starting off, you start off holding against a wall, a pole, a partner, and then you can just start with body weights. You can then add weight. Of course, you can use dumbbells, you can use a barbell if you want to go really heavy, have a spot with that, and you can even start to add a jump over time as well. And then I like to superset it with some jump squats just because I do like to work on my vertical athletic performance. I can do a whole separate video on that. I didn't really mention that in this, but I've thrown in some things every time. So I find it's really good to just kind of fatigue the muscles and then try jumping, because when you jump without fatiguing them, it's gonna be way easier. Okay, some progressions you can do with this is if you're just starting out, you have bad knees, anything like that, just start bodyweight squats. Then you can progress to just simple jumps, and then you can do more squat jumps, and then of course there's a lot more advanced things from there, but we're not even gonna dive into that. And my last little secret sauce, just to completely burn out your glutes, and you're gonna hate and love me for this one, is it doesn't really have a name. We're gonna call it a banded glute complex trifecta something, and pretty much you just have a band around your legs, and you're gonna do about 10 to 12 or so lateral side shuffles or lunges-esque, and then you're also going to go back, and then you're going to go forward. You're going to go look like a duck. I always kind of try to bend forward a little bit. I just find that angle activates my glutes a little bit more. Play around with the angles of your body positions for your glutes, and ready to feel the burn. So just some few quick tips with this is you want to keep your back straight, but I find it does help if you bend forward a little bit, just get your glutes a bit more activated. You don't want your knees dipping in. You want to keep them apart the entire time. And but even though you're bent over, you still want your chest up, so no hunch over like this. And that is my glute workout for right now. Of course, every day is a little bit different. I do like to mix it up, but this is kind of the general consensus, what you'll see most of my workouts in. And I do a lot of full body stuff, so you probably noticed some things aren't just glutes, and that's how I typically do it. So it is what works best for you. You can guys give this a try. If you have any comments about this glute workout, comment below and I will make sure to get back to you. Or if you have any feedback, I'd love to hear. If you're new to our channel, feel free to hit subscribe and join our mermaid tribe. We'd love to have you. You can follow me on Instagram, you can follow me on Twitter. We can talk about dogs, send me dog pics always. And thank you for tuning in, like always. Bye.